Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, Hull University receives a £40 million boost to its finances. We have another dog looking for its forever home in Dog of the Week. And my guest tonight, our author Tracy Todd, here to talk about her book Unscanned. And she'll be joined by scriptwriter Peter True, who will tell us about his collaboration with Tracy. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Erica Barker, but first, here's Richard Morris with the news headlines.
Police are seeking a man in connection with a spate of 4 burglaries which took place in Hornsey in one night. Police are keen to identify the man in this video released by the force. On the night, a home on Victoria Avenue was broken into, as well as Marine Drive. A commercial nursery on Atwick Road, as well as a cafe on Marine Drive, were broken into in all roughly the similar time frame. If you have any information about this which could help the police, then please call the non-emergency number on 101. A new project to help men over 50 socialise has opened in Louth. The Men's Shed has a waiting list of 40 males keen to be involved in new projects and share things with their fellows. The idea, which started in Australia, has been beset with problems in Lincolnshire, but there's relief now it has opened.
The initial hook, as Greg was saying, is to get people to come out and actually be creative and do things with their hands and things and just get involved. But at least 50% of it's the social aspect, where we want people, and blokes obviously, to come and just share their ideas and thoughts and things, and just so they feel like they're part of a community rather than being isolated, which is an increasing problem for all sectors of society really, but particularly in older men.
The family have paid tribute to Adam Baxter, 26, of Barton, who died when his car left the M180 on June the 16th. The funeral was attended by hundreds of friends and loved ones. The car lover and mechanic had a celebration of his life held at Woodlands Crematorium on Tuesday. Wheelsby Riding School have received a new horse, but it's not as you might expect. George is a training horse and has been purchased specifically to help with some of the visitors to the school with additional needs. Carol Scott, a volunteer with the group, explained the advantages of George.
Some of our riders who only walk, they've been on him, they've had the sensation of the trot movement and also the canter, which they'll never achieve on a real horse. So it's been really useful, and our more advanced riders have been able to understand what they're doing with their hands a little bit more and their legs. So it teaches a wide variety of the riders.
If you have any news for us, then please don't hesitate to contact us on Grimsby 01472 31553 or contact us on Twitter at EstuaryTV or search us on Facebook. Bye for now.
Well, Grimsby author Tracy Todd joins me as her debut novel receives critical acclaim. Welcome, Tracy. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
This is fantastic, isn't it? How long did it take to get this up and running and get it in the shops, really?
Well, I initially started in 2013 writing the book. And I wrote for about 4 months, took a break, went back to it June of last year. And I first published it on Amazon in about October.
So what made you want to write this book? What is the book about?
It's about children. The main character is a boy. He's 12 years old, and he goes on an adventure, and he gets kidnapped, and then it's all about how he gets out of the situation that he's in. But he becomes a hero in that he rescues a lot of children from a very difficult situation.
And what made you want to write about that?
I didn't intend to write about that initially. I intended to write a short story. I have a son who's 12, and he wanted me to write something particularly for him that would amuse him. That would include names of family and friends, and something that it was just to entertain him. But the story grew and it got longer and longer, and hence we have a book.
And who is the book for then? What kinds of age range would you say would read it?
Well, I have had people from 9 years old up until 80 years old read it, and different nationalities as well. So I've been very fortunate. On my website, you can see comments from people who are older and younger, and older people get a different meanings from it. So there are quite a few social, political commentaries going on in the book in the background, but it's all from children's perspective.
So do you think it's great for both age groups, really, that adults and children can take something from it?
I do, and I believe they do when they read it.
And have you always written? Is it something that you've always wanted to do?
Oh, I've written since I was 8 years old. And I've had short stories published. I've also co-wrote non-fiction books. So I've always written, and I love it, yes.
So this is your debut novel, isn't it?
Yes.
So why was this time the right time?
Several things, because I used to work abroad, and I came back to Grimsby. I'm born in Grimsby, from here. So in coming back, I then found I had the time to actually write and learn the skill of writing properly.
Because it must take a long time to write a book. I always think I'd love to write one, but then when you come to it, I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know if I have the time. It takes forever, doesn't it?
I always think it's not the first draft that takes the long time. It's the rewrites and rewrites and the editing and the changing and the linking up and making sure all the descriptions fit. So it's actually the rewrites that take the longest. And
for people watching who want to get hold of it, how can they get hold of it?
Well, they can come to Waterstones in Grimsby on Saturday. I have a reading and a signing at 12 o'clock. Otherwise, they can buy it from Waterstones. If they want to buy it online, it is on Amazon, both on Kindle and soft copy, so they can buy it there.
Because this is self-published, this book, isn't it?
It is.
And how does that differ?
Well, you can self-publish on Amazon through their Create space, and a lot of people do that. There are so many people writing nowadays, and traditional publishers have so many people sending in manuscripts that the best way to, if you want a traditional publisher, is to go ahead, publish yourself, and then do a lot of promotion yourself and get noticed, which is what I'm doing. So then you get noticed from other publishers.
And is that what you'd love to happen then, so the book gets noticed and you can get paid, write more?
Well, the promotion of it takes up a lot of time. So it would be great for somebody else to do that promotion with involving me, but doing the promotional side myself so I can spend time writing.
Because I know it isn't easy as well. I've got a lot of friends that want to get published, and it's hard graft, isn't it? Sending your manuscripts off time and time again. It's not always easy, is it?
It's not, but I think if you really want to do it, you have to be persistent, and you really do have to self-promote. And I have been into many schools. I do a lot of readings. We talk about writing and publishing and description and what a book is about and how you sit down and really enthuse young people, not only to read the book but also to write. So I think you have to do a lot of that in order to get people interested.
And I know you were saying you've been going into schools as well and motivating them and inspiring them, really. How important is it that youngsters are doing that in schools and writing and being creative?
Oh, it's incredibly important. I mean, there are a lot of children that have written me letters that have said, since going in and reading and talking to them, they now feel more confident to write and to write stories. And when you get that sort of feedback, then you think, yes, it was worth it. And I love going into schools, and I love getting the feedback from the children.
And what about feedback overall with the book, just quickly?
I get some really good feedback on the website, tracytodd.co.uk. You can actually see the feedback, you can see the letters, you can see some of the story, what it's about. Photographs, there's all sorts on that website.
Oh, that's great, Tracy. We'll come back to you in a little while, and Peter will join you as well, and we'll talk about your collaboration. So, coming up then, there's another dog needing a home in Dog of the Week, and Richard Morris returns with the sports news. Following recent investments in improving Hull University's library, the Middleton Hall, and increasing student accommodation capacity, the university has now received £40 million from the European Investment Bank. Well, Dave Nunn went to find out what the money will be spent on.
Hull University has been riding on a wave after a huge new investment in infrastructure. Now the university is receiving a £40 million investment from the European Central Investment Bank.
We are marking the signature of a loan of 40 million, which we are making to the university here to help support development of facilities, buildings and projects here more generally.
The bank has invested £1.5 billion in universities around the UK in the last 5 years and has picked out Hull for specific reasons.
The universities they will approach us for the funding, but the things that we particularly look out for are ambitious but value for money projects which will make a clearly important measurable contribution to the development of the university. We like to look at research facilities, we like to support accommodation, refurbishment, and in particular we like to see where the university itself and the development of the university is also going to have an important knock-on effect to the wider economy, and all of those things apply here, so we're very happy to be involved with it.
The loan has delighted Vice-Chancellor Callie Pistorius, who has big plans to invest the money in the student experience, as we can see from existing developments.
On the capital side, we have a refurbishment of our library, which I would like to think is now one of the most modern university libraries. We've just started the project of new residences. The new building for the medical school will start soon, and a bigger health campus. We have the completion of our Middleton Hall, which will be a world-class concert facility. So many capital projects. But in the broader investment program, we also have investment in people, investment in academic endeavours, and above all of this is about investment in student experience.
The Vice-Chancellor says it all adds up to exciting times in the future of the university.
I think it's very exciting, especially everything is coming more or less at the same time. And it really shows confidence, I think, and it shows growth. And that's a very exciting time.
Well, still with me in the studio is Tracy Todd, but joining her now is scriptwriter Peter True. Peter, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
So you have taken Tracy's book and turned it into a play, haven't you?
Yes, we've taken a part of the book and turned it into a short, about 15 minutes.
There it is.
And there it is, yeah, fantastic front cover, isn't it?
Very exciting.
That must have been amazing to see Peter kind of, see the words put to paper really, and how you adapt that for theatre.
Excellent, and even on the first read through, I mean, it was fabulous. I could see it as if it was, in front of me on a screen or in the theatre. And Fusion Youth Theatre, based in Grimsby, are actually going to perform it on the 19th. So it's a really exciting endeavour.
That's fabulous. And I bet they're looking forward to doing that as well, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They really are.
And Peter, when you came to Tracy's book then, what is it about that book that brought visions and ideas to your mind of how you could put that on a stage, really?
It works really well. I mean, we're looking at putting a pilot together for screen as well, and the opening of the book is perfect for that. It's action, and then it goes deeper into the story. And the extract itself for the theatre is a nice self-contained piece, which just sort of really has a beginning, middle and end in of itself. Really good.
And you were saying about television as well, wasn't you? I know that Fusion, who are a local theatre company in Grimsby, aren't they, will be performing extracts of this. Do you hope to see it on the big screen one day?
Well, I would, wouldn't you?
I think the book would work really well.
Do you think the book lends itself to that as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
And were you saying there's another event where other youngsters will be performing?
Yes, I'm hoping to get a Caxton evening together. They're considering the plays at the moment, and a big part of that would be Tracy coming along, would be performing that extract, and also Tracy giving a reading, and then for original plays of mine, hopefully.
And just when you two came together to look at this, Tracy, when you was reading, did you want to give more ideas? Was you happy with what I'd written? Because it's hard, isn't it, to give over your book to someone else?
The first draft, when I read it, I saw it immediately. Yes, I said there were a few things that, can we add this and can we add this? But I rely on him totally. He's really good at making what is a book with lots of description into something that you can put on screen or in the theatre.
And likewise then, Peter, how important is Tracy's input when you're writing?
It's been really good, because obviously I think going into it you worry, is the author going to be very precious, and but she's been absolutely brilliant. She understands that the written word being converted to stage and screen as well. It's a completely different thing.
Because it's a completely different way of writing, isn't it? But still keeping true to the story, really. And is that something you feel that in the future, because I know you were saying that you wanted to do a sequel as well, do you think there could be a sequel play?
Why not?
And how is the sequel going then, Tracy?
As we talked before, I'm in the first draft. So I'm about 60,000 words into the first draft. So I'm rewriting at the moment. But I have the whole plot and everything absolutely finished, know where I'm going, know what's happening, all the characters sorted out, so the main thing is done.
That's fantastic. So when it comes back onto the stage then, when you have the script in front of you, what is it like to see those youngsters performing, all the hard work that you and Peter have done, and seeing the youngsters up there really?
Well, the first time it will be performed will be on the 19th, and that will be so exciting. I'll spend the whole day with them, because I'm so excited about it myself, but they are too. I did actually go and read to them, and they love the book.
And have you been in rehearsals then? Have you been able to see them getting up on the feet, so to speak?
I've seen them in other plays that they've performed, but not this one yet.
So looking at the process of taking it from a book then to taking it on stage, what is that process? What does it include?
It is really interesting, and it's about understanding the language of a script, of a screenplay. I was taught everything I know by a tutor at the college, Paul Roberts, who was my mentor really, together with Chris Downs. But it's really about pacing it and showing it without just really putting an image into the reader, because the script has to be read as well by whoever's going to make it. So you have to put the image into their head first as well.
Because I know you came to the Grimsby Institute, didn't you?
Mm.
And what was the course that you did?
I did the professional writing degree, and I think like most people who write, they start writing stories, writing prose, and then I started to specialise in scripts and radio scripts, TV scripts.
And do you think there's a lot of talent in the area when it comes to writing?
Absolutely, and film. I wrote a film for a local group, North Lincolnshire filmmakers group, and there's a lot of talent everywhere. Theatre, Caxton's and the Youth Fusion, all sorts.
And is there great collaborative work going on as well in the region?
The only collaborative work that I really know of is the combination of the work that I'm doing, which is with Peter, with Fusion, with Caxton, and some of the festivals that I'm going to. I think you're probably more of an expert on what's going on in the region with regards to scripts.
I think it's getting bigger and bigger. I mean, there was a local film group, you probably covered it. They won numerous awards for their film in America, and that was all local. It was all done here, and you know, it's reaching across the world.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Joining me in the studio to look at some of the news stories this week is Richard Morris. Richard, nice to see you.
How are you?
Oh, good, thank you. Are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good,
I'm very
good.
awake and very alert today,
Very
which is always
awake.
good.
That's handy. That's handy. So what's been going on?
Well, I mean, obviously the big story at the moment is the Dong Energy kind of opening yesterday. It's just off Westermost. Well, they've called the new project Westermost Rough. It's just kind of how they show it on their maps. It's just kind of like directly going eastwards out from Kingston upon Hull. If you just follow directly east, you'll get there. And they're just these huge, enormous wind turbines. I mean, if you look at the height of the pillar, and then if you add on the height of the arms on top, they're taller than the Gherkin in London.
Gosh.
So that gives you an idea as to how tall they are. They're absolutely enormous, and apparently the area covered is 32 kilometres squared, according to their literature, and this is equivalent to 4,482 KC Stadium football pitches.
Wow.
So it's absolutely enormous, this place. And obviously what they're saying is that we're going to be able to sort of easily produce, from this offshore wind farm, going to be able to easily produce, enough energy for about 150,000 homes in the area.
And I mean, this is important, isn't it? This is all the plans taking a step forwards, really, and becoming actuality.
And of course, Lord Haskins, who's the chairman of the Humber Local Economic Partnership, he said that the Humber is becoming essentially the UK's energy estuary. He said, obviously, we've got all these offshore wind farms which are being built. It's all happening in Hull and Grimsby. He also said that all of this construction is taking place in Hull, and all of it is being shipped out from Grimsby. So it's kind of a regeneration almost, really, of kind of like those kinds of shipping industries that Grimsby in the area used to have, and of course it's coming back now.
Massive industry. What else do we have?
Well, we've got all kinds of things. The Ferrens Art Gallery in Hull. Are you a fan? I love it.
Yes, I love it.
But it's going to close.
Oh.
For 16 months. Not permanently, but it's going to close for 16 months.
Okay.
It's got to prepare for the whole city of culture. Everything's preparing for the whole city of culture. It's undergoing a £4.5 million refurbishment, so that is a huge amount of money.
Massive.
It's actually part of an overall £70 million thing put out by the council, which will apparently, obviously attract more tourists and transform the city into what they call will be a world-class visitor destination. This is on top of the whole new theatre, the regeneration of the fruit market, the building of a cruise terminal, and a 3,500 seat music and event centre.
Massive news for the area.
So
isn't
absolutely massive news. I mean, obviously, in going into Hull 2017 City of Culture, it looks as though Hull will pretty much be, the place to be. If you're in the region anyway. So they're really thought about that. Well, some skeletons have been found at a Beverley housing site. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry
Are
about.
they old ones?
Yeah, they're old ones.
Those would have to be quite old.
They're from a medieval cemetery, so don't worry. But they think they've been there obviously centuries. And between 50 and 70 skeletons could be at the burial ground off Albert Terrace in Beverley. But don't worry, because they've been there for ages. It's not anything.
Well, on that news, Richard, I'm going to have to leave it there. And now it's time for Dog of the Week. Can you give this canine its forever home?
Dog number 64, actually called Junior. He is chipped, born 2013. Did come into us with a very bad flea allergy, but it's now been corrected by the vets. Hair all growing back nicely, and a very, very friendly dog.
And there'll be another dog needing a home next week. Now it's time to go over to the sports with Richard Morris.
Last night, Hull FC were on the end of a major upset at the Wakefield Wildcats in Super League, losing 26 points to 16. At half-time, it was a very different story as the Black and Whites led 16 points to 6. However, after the break, it was a different story as Jacob Miller scored 3 second-half tries and 2 penalties to help his side gain an unlikely victory. Lead Radford and his side were left shell-shocked, having let a lead slip as this fourth consecutive loss enabled bottom club Wildcats to gain their first victory after 16 successive league defeats. In Speedway tonight, the Scunthorpe Scorpions are hoping to have Ryan Douglas back in their ranks for their trip to Redcar Bears. Douglas has been out of action for almost a month after sustaining an injury in early June. The Scorpions lost against the Bears 44-45 earlier this year, so will be hoping to do better this time around. In football, Paul McShane, who was released by Hull City earlier this summer, has joined Ireland and former Tigers teammate Stephen Quinn at Reading. Cleethorpes Town have boosted their squad with the recruitment of Kane Winfarrer, who joins the Owls from Grimsby Town. Meanwhile, Immingham speedster Craig Neve did well in round 5 of the Thundersport GB Championships in Cheshire. Neve finished in 4th position with just 0.4 seconds the difference between the top 4 in qualifying. In the race itself, he clinched 2 third places with a time of under 1 minute and 40 seconds. That's all from me for now, and if you have any sports news for us, then please contact us on sport@estuary.tv or call us on 01472 31 553. Bye for now.
That's all we've time for. Thanks to my guests, Tracy Todd and Peter True. If you have a news story, then go to our Facebook or Twitter pages at Estuary or email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31 5561. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Friday, a fine and warm summer day, and long spells of sunshine, feeling very warm during the afternoon, and highs of 24 degrees Celsius. Saturday we'll see a mix of bright, sunny spells and scattered showers.